we played a much cleaner game. We made plays. We protected the football. I thought we had really good balance. I thought the execution was good. You know, overall, the effort, I thought as a football team goes back to our cornerstones of, you know, of our program, and that's mental and physical toughness that we have to play with, and we've got to make sure that shows up just like your offense and defense does. So I'm really proud of what they did. That was a good football team that we played. I thought it was one of the better teams in our league and still do. I thought we had great practice and preparation last week, and it showed on Saturday. And really proud of how we finished the football game. And we've been doing that the last couple of weeks, and we got to keep doing that. You know, complete victory team-wise. Really, all three phases. We'd like to rush the ball a little more offensively. We still would like, you know, 200 yards rushing, and that's what we always put down. We were more balanced. But I thought for what we did against that front, because I really believe that was the best front in the conference. And then I think what Jalen did, I think he had a great day. Obviously, he threw the one pick early, and we don't want to do that. But I think when you look at how we, 43 points, the big plays that we had, time of possession, with plus 19 minutes, red zone instead of field goals, there was touchdowns. Third down conversions were really, really good. And then, you know, we just want more consistency in the rush game. I think defensively, I thought we played a good football game. We didn't start good, you know, and a couple big plays in there. But I thought some of the adjustments that Kurt made and some of the things that he did, you know, after the 14 points, I think they only had 119 yards in the next 9 drives. So I thought from that standpoint, we affected the quarterback. With the 5 sacks, and I think we had 14 overall TFLs and sacks. I think the momentum of our game came from our special teams. You look at the kickoff, and it was really, I think, gratifying, and Deke would probably tell you that, because we had put that return in for them, for San Jose, and it didn't work perfectly, but it worked well enough for us to score a touchdown and really to give us a lot of momentum offensively and defensively. So that was something that we were real happy with. And then Jack, you know, hit the 2 field goals. He only had to punt twice, and he did a nice job keeping them down as far as pinning them down deep. You know, it was a full team effort. Really excited about you know, how we finished, and excited about what we've done. We're on a short week, as everybody knows, but that doesn't make it an excuse. It's just a shorter week, and we've got work to do, and our guys got back to it on Sunday. And obviously yesterday we had a good day, and today is Wednesday for us.
Where has Maiden made the biggest jump since your first game in the fall when he came back to quarterback?
Yeah, I would say Hacksaw, as much as anything, I think just his complete handling of the offense. You know, I think, you know, when you're getting, when you're getting the signals from the sideline, and how you present that to the offense, the rest of the offense, that's huge. You know, when I played, I was an inside linebacker, and I called defense, and you know, that was always important. And so I kind of relate it to that, because there is some learning, obviously, and I think he's done that. And again, you know, his composure is really something I think is what helps him be as good as he is.
Brady, maybe It's fairly remarkable the turnaround of your passing offense from like one of the worst in the country statistically to what it's been over these recent games. There's been so many changes internally that would potentially contribute to that. There was Jalen, there was Ryan Lindley coming aboard. It's Jeff's kind of experience moving over to coordinator, so he's done that before. Your offensive line, which is young, has gotten more snaps. Of all those things that could have triggered that passing offense, what were the biggest ones in terms of the change?
Well, you know, I always refer back to the bye week, kind of, you know, when, you know, it was a tough week, but there were some decisions. And when I say that, you know, we took Caden from playing the inside linebacker and moved him back out. And I think that's helped us defensively. I think he's more comfortable out there. I think his brother has played better because of that, you know. And, you know, even though he's backing him up, I think that has been something that's been really good for us. I think we've gotten, you know, and I'll get offensively, but defensively, you know, we've played better. We've gotten turnovers. We've gotten negative plays. And part of that is the offense being on the field. You know, we play very good when we're watching the offense. And I think the offense, you know, the time of possession, the executing, it's never one guy when things are bad. It's never one guy when things are good. I think it's a lot of guys who care about each other in that locker room. And I think, you know, you look at some expertise of you know, Hort's been around a long time. I talked to Jerry Kill yesterday, and we were talking about Jeff Horton the whole time, and about our experiences and the age factor that we all have. But it's really, Hort's done a great job. The offense has done a great job. I think you're exactly right when you talk about the offensive line getting more experience, getting better. So, you know, the attitude of this team has been good. And, you know, you can go back. Arizona's a pretty good football team. We're kind of finding that out. We knew Utah was going to be a good football team. And, you know, with us kind of relatively young, I think it all, you know, we're growing and excited about, you know, what's ahead of us. You know, historically, when we win the time of possession or we win the turnover margin and we win the field position, we win. And historically, that's been since I was here the first time all the way through with Coach Long. So I think we're doing that as a team.
What do you think Ryan Lindley's made the biggest impact with Jalen?
If you're Jalen, okay, and I'm got a coach who played the position, which I don't think is always necessary, and I say that because I was a linebacker and I'm a D-line guy, but I think the experience that Ryan has, you know, number one, being an Aztec, starting here, playing here, and playing really well, and then I think, you know, with what he did, you know, in the NFL a little bit, that's always something. And I think that's something that Jalen probably, and I haven't asked him this, but I would think he would feel real good about that relationship. I mean, he's up here a lot, so usually if you're up here a lot talking to your coach, there's a relationship there that's pretty good.
Jalen said he's coming back next year. Do you see Ryan Lindley as his QB coach again, or how's that going to shake out?
I hope so. I hope so. I got a lot of things we got to get done.
Is he already contracted for next year?
Well, there's, yeah, a verbal contraction, I can tell you that.
Jonah said yesterday that since that bye week, that point you're talking about, he's seen something different in the eyes of the younger players. One, do you see that too? And if so, what do you see?
I think guys who are growing up, you know, and I, you know, Jonah probably sees things a little different to me sometimes, but I do think the guys of the younger guys, you you can tell that there's a standard that they're starting to understand that they have to have.
You're losing, I believe, 4 or 5 of your front 6 for next year. Now that you're bowl eligible, you obviously want to win these last 2 games, but could we see some of the younger guys get more opportunities in these 2 games?
Yeah, you might. You might. There's some guys who, we travel, but we haven't done anything with them. They haven't played. But there's really a good group of guys, I think some younger guys that are going to be really good football players for us. A guy like Chris Johnson, who's playing some on special teams, I think he's going to be and I could probably talk about more guys than just him, but he's a guy who's made an impact.
There's some other guys that are eligible to come back for their COVID seasons next year. Obviously, Jalen has been announced as coming back. Are there any other conversations yet?
We had some conversations, but we're not there yet.
New Mexico's defense is really good against third downs. I think I read that they've only given up 1 third down conversion longer than 3rd and 7 all year. What makes their defense so good in that aspect?
They play hard. I mean, that's what makes any defense good is playing hard. I mean, that's when we play well, it's because we play hard. We chase the ball, we pursue, we play physical at the line of scrimmage, and it's no different. Coach gets them playing hard. It's one thing he's always been able to do.
Across your 100 wins in your career, what did you learn across those 100 wins that helped you this season in particular?
Wow. You don't take it for granted, but there's a lot of different experiences, I would say, that you deal with, either dealing with players, parents, situations. I think you learn from all of those. I think, I learned more from Lloyd Carr and Gary Moeller than I probably did anybody. And, Dan Seminole, who I coached for at Toledo. I mean, there's so many guys that you learn, and you hope you're ready for that first job. I don't know if I was or not. I probably don't get it if I'm not a alumnus of Ball State, to be honest with you. There's just been a lot of different experiences that happen, and you deal with them, good or bad.
There's a couple walk-ons that are starting, playing a lot of snaps. Is there any potential for one to get a scholarship before the end of the season?
Possibly. I will let you know, believe me. I'm not going to tell you who, though, but if that happens, I'm going to tell them first.
Brady, have you talked to Jeff about staying coordinator next year? Have you made up in your decision?
We've we talked about it, and we also talked about it that we'll get to that at the end of the season.
What has he brought to the position that wasn't here prior?
Well, I just think there's different personalities, different ways that guys do things. I'm different than Coach Long when he was a head coach. So, I think we all, have different things that are strengths and weaknesses. And I think experience is always something that gives you a leg up with the different experiences that you have.
What's your philosophy as far as today's game? There's a lot more passing, obviously, throwing the ball around. Are you still more grounded in the running game and using that?
Yeah.
And where does all that? How has your philosophy evolved, or where does all that come from?
I think that you learn a lot, especially being a defensive coach. You learn a lot because of what different people try and do to you. Whether you're a 4-man front, 5-man front, 3-man front, whatever it might be, I think you always learn from that. And I see things and I talk to, the guys on offense about, yeah, check this out, or it's like the Colts. The Colts do some really neat things offensively. Well, we're always going to look at what they do, and that decision on what we do is still going to be one that's the staff believes in, whatever we might be doing.
I have a question about the transfer portal. When you look at this conference, there's more than half the teams are having horrible times at quarterback. Either guys left or young guys are forced on the field and they're staggering and struggling badly. The portal's got like 200 quarterbacks in it from all schools.
Yeah.
How hard is it to zero in on a quarterback in the portal and say, that guy fits what we can do, we got to convince him to come here? How? Is it a huge
Well, you do that, Hacksaw, with the NIL. Do that together. It's tough. I mean, it's changed. It has definitely changed. And, we want to keep the guys. That's why I was pretty fired up on Jalen, on Maiden, staying and saying he's staying. So I feel really good about that and about him, his character and all that kind of stuff. But that's not going to stop another school from saying, we got this nice NIL. I think SMU, $28,000, every guy on the team got. $28,000. You shake your head, but I'm telling you, the game's changed.
for better or worse?
It's a good question, Hacksaw. I'll have to think about it.
Does it have to come under different guidelines, different?
There needs to be some sort of boundaries, some sort of regulations, and I don't know who's going to do it. The NCAA is not going to do it. They don't want to do it. They want nothing to do with it because they'll just get sued. They would like for the federal government to do it. I think there's enough the federal government has to deal with. So it's got to be some entity somewhere, somehow, where everybody can agree, which is hard to do. But yeah, it's a little harder than it used to be.
Given that, do you think there's nothing in the near future that's going to kind of rein this in?
I think in the next, I think before the season we talked about this a little bit, and I think like 14 months or something like that. There's got to be something, I believe. Now, not a whole lot of people listen to me, so I'm not really worried about it.
A couple weeks, you'll find out which bowl you're going to. Do you have any certain preference of a city that you'd like to see you guys going to?
Sure, I like Hawaii. I don't know about anybody else. I only go there when I'm playing football games, so that's the only time I've been there, so that'd be nice.
Great.
And be nice for our kids.
What are you seeing from New Mexico on both sides on film? We had Jalen on yesterday, said they're playing harder than their record would indicate.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Danny's a damn good coach. Having Rocky there also. I mean, those are two really good football coaches, football minds. Offensively, they struggle a little bit like us. They've been through 3 quarterbacks. They're really offensively, they scare you more than you think because of the triple option aspects of what they're running. And, they went through the same thing coordinator-wise, kind of like we have, but it's been really triple option. And it's, we're going to get that a week from now, but it's different. It's not Air Force, Navy. It's more what Army did a couple years back with their triple option stuff. Excuse me.
Going back to my question about the lack of quarterbacks in the conference, is that just a cyclical thing, or does the NIL make it impossible for some of these other places to be able to go find quarterbacks?
Yeah, the only thing I know is, Cordero's pretty good in our league. Hayner obviously is pretty good in our league. I think we're growing at that position in our league. I don't know. You know, UNLV has, I thought, 3 good quarterbacks. You know, obviously they just played the one. I think it's just going to depend on some NIL, I believe. I also believe that, you know, there's going to be a lot of, and I hate it because what are we teaching kids? Right? I mean, what are we teaching them? And look, we benefited with a couple of guys, Cooper, Redmond, Tavai, you know, with the portal, right? Different positions, but we benefited. But I also think, don't we have to stay and fight and you know, compete? I mean, what?
Don't coaches leave if they get a better offer though too?
There's been some. There has. There has. There's no question.